I went 220 days without any steroids.
I'm going natural. Can you really say that? You think all of it's gone for most people?
For most people, I would say, yeah.
I'm providing weekly updates.
First of all that could be fabricated.
And then I got all the way down to 182.
182 pounds is very large for a guy of his height.
You're still somewhat giving the dude the benefit of the doubt.
And this is after he lied to your face.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looks leaner, looks a little bit smaller, but it's also a way different angle.
So I've decided to go back on it.
He was able to get to a certain level of strength, a certain level of size that he was then connected to. And then when he's found out and he hops off, he loses that and he just can't handle it.
What do you guys think about him saying he never wanted to be Liver King?
Yeah, I don't think he would have ever done it if he didn't want to do it. At that point, I thought he was definitely on stuff after seeing him in person, and I just felt like it was just a big marketing thing, and it is. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Scrotums and scotch. That's what's for breakfast. Just reach into this bad boy.
What in the hell?
Look at these prized possessions that are all encased in all of the testicle juices,
How vascular
all the
it
good
is.
sinew, all the incredible
sinew.
nourishment.
So
That's
veiny.
called
I haven't
life.
seen him like that
What's
since
life?
8th grade.
And we already got a scrotum ready earlier. Took a couple of membranes off just to make it easy for the king. But I don't like it easy. More!
Hard. Likes that hard.
So here's what Liver King is having for breakfast. Scrotums and scotch.
Scotch in the morning primal, though? Well, actually, it's the best time of day to have alcohol if you're going to have it would be the morning.
Okay. Out.
Well, what was crazy is when I went and visited Liver King, what I was surprised about is how much oatmeal the guy's eating. He's eating tons of oatmeal and French toast and pancakes. It was unbelievable. I was like, wow, this is different.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kidding.
I was assuming so.
That's
Well,
some weird shit.
We're here talking about Liver King again.
He's back.
He's back.
Or maybe he never went anywhere. I don't know.
I don't think he can win anymore, but he's back and natural. Or was natural.
Ish.
Ish.
No
He hopped
way.
off for a while. He said, he hopped off of everything and he made a video about it, which seems like it'll be pretty interesting.
He lost some weight, I guess.
Let's see.
Always critical, calls me out, says that I'm back on steroids, has a whole bunch of accusations. Here's what I have to say back. I'm always critical. You're late to the party.
Pause real quick.
All you had to do was go to Liver.
Doesn't his face look like Chad Wesley Smith's face? Like, if you guys could just pull up Chad Wesley Smith real quick. Like, they have the same...
Is this like a conspiracy theory?
No, it's just they look very similar.
I haven't seen or heard much from Chad Wesley Smith in a little bit, so maybe there is some sort of link.
He got second at Masters Worlds, actually.
Did he really?
Purple belt.
Is
yeah.
there two Chad
Fucking
Wesley
good for him.
Smiths?
There's only one Chad Wesley Smith.
What a great name. Chad
These are all
Wesley Smith.
Small-ass pictures. One
Sounds so
second.
proper.
Just find something with his
I'm
face.
I'm working on it, dude. They're very small, and I do not see any connection.
You don't...
He has a large head.
Nah, there's something in the eyes, yo. It's something of the deep blue eyes, the cheeks, and the brows.
Oh, the eyes.
Yeah.
Chad Wesley Smith does have some crazy looking blue eyes, and so does Liver King.
You guys are way off.
Well, you can't make all the shots, can you? So,
The color of the eyes, I would agree.
all right, at least I got that right.
There you go.
There we go. Let's keep playing the video.
King.com. All of it's there. All of it. I guess here's what I'll say. I didn't lie to anybody when I went on the podcast and I started talking about my earnest commitment to go natural. So this year, starting on January 2nd, I went 220 days without any steroids.
Let me ask you
without
this,
any
guys.
growth.
Pause. Because it's so funny when people are like, they've been on all this shit and they're like, I'm going natural. Like, can you really say that?
No.
I mean, I'm not trying to be the gatekeeper of what is natural, but like, does that make sense? If you've been on gear for a hell of years and you hop off, you're saying, I don't know. Well, you actually said you don't really keep the gains, right?
You won't really keep the gains, but 200 days is like how many months is that?
It's like almost 7 months.
So 7 months is when you would start to, you start to go downhill like after maybe like 3 months.
Okay.
3-4 months, you would go downhill a little bit. But after 6, 7, 8 months, you'd still be able to hold on to a little bit. But once like a year or so goes by, it's pretty much...
You think all of it's gone for most people?
For most people, I would say, yeah. There's probably precautions you could take. There's probably like like natural supplements that you can take, and there's probably a lot of like training and sleep, and you could probably dial stuff in and keep some of it, but almost everything's gonna be gone after a couple months passes by. And on top of that, you really messed up your system. So I don't know what protocol or whatever he used coming off, but you have to figure out a way to like soften the blow of coming off of everything, because you'll be worse off than you ever were before from an endocrine standpoint, from a hormonal standpoint. You'll be worse for a while.
Gotcha.
But when you're saying like you'll lose a lot, but like he still was very muscular and he was still seemed very, very big. So like what would he be losing other than maybe that, like that shitty feeling of like coming off of everything? Probably got super lazy. I don't know if he got super lazy, but like that feeling of not like no drive anymore, I understand is probably there from coming off of everything. But when you say lose everything, what do you mean exactly?
I just meant like physically, like lose a lot of muscle, lose a lot of body composition. Again, it wouldn't necessarily be for everybody. I think that traditionally, my experience and what I've seen, when a lot of people go off of steroids, they go off the rails on everything. Like they go off plan on it everywhere. You know,
Steroids were keeping them in check.
Yeah, they had like a routine going. They were doing steroids for bodybuilding. Like they had this whole regimen going, and they had plans and goals. You know, I'm going to bench this at this meet, or I'm going to compete in this show. And so therefore, when they come off, maybe it's going to look a little different than what Liver King was able to pull off. If of course, if he's being honest, which who the hell knows?
Hormone, without any peptide, without anything synthetic. If you call eating a pound of fresh, raw bull testicles every single day natural, then I've been natty as fuck for 220 days. There's been a lot of accusations. You don't just get more shredded and more vascular and more yada, yada, yada when you come off steroids. Once again, if you go to liverking.com and you see the stats page, I'm providing weekly updates. So I was about 206 pounds in December.
Can you pause it? I mean, this could all that could be, first of all that could be fabricated. Like he could just be totally lying with any of that stuff if he wanted to. I don't know if he would go that far. I don't really believe that he would in this case, but also, you know, steroid, like there's so many other things you can take that aren't going to necessarily really show up in your blood work, or you could cherry pick what kind of blood work that you get done. You know, I could easily call any of the people that we had on the show before and say, hey, like I want to stay really lean when I come off stuff. Here's the plan, but I want to like have it not register in my blood. And they would be like, oh, don't get your homocysteine checked and don't get this checked and that checked. And like, no one will really be able to see, you know? So you can fabricate all this. I'm sure everyone would be aware of that in advance anyway.
Thing is too, it's like, I mean, there are old videos on the internet showing him doing like crazy CrossFit WODs before he came out as the internet persona. So it's like, he did look pretty decent beforehand. Man, I'm not surprised if he looks decent when he's off. But yeah, let's see.
And then I got all the way down to 182. So I've lost over 20 pounds. You know, and anybody who
You need to pause it just for a
interacts
second
with me
again. 182 pounds is very large for a guy of his height. Like I think, you know, he said, oh, I got all the way down to 182 pounds. It's big. He's like 5'7" or something. Like that's still a lot of body weight. And when you're that lean, that's actually absolutely incredible.
real life will tell you I look leaner. For anybody who doesn't believe me, all you have to do is look at my social media photos. Look at it from December.
Pause.
Every 5 seconds.
That's not all you have to do. You know what I mean? Like he's overselling you on something, right? All you have to do, if you want proof, all you have to do is go to my website and you'll see the stuff on my blood work. And all you have to do is, I'm just like trying to just help people, you know, work their way through this. I'm sure some people have already like written Liver King off because like he lied before and maybe he's lying again. I'm not even saying he's lying. I have no idea really. I don't really even care about this. I think that he has a persona that people want to talk about and they're intrigued by him and they want 2.1 million followers. I mean, he came through really fast and was able to grab a lot of attention. I like some of the stuff that he does. I think some of it's funny. I think some of it's cool because it grabs attention, gets people talking about diet, gets people kind of wondering like, oh, I wonder if I did go all in on my diet, what it would do. Just like everybody else, I hate the fact that he deceived everybody. You know, he kept saying adamantly that he was natural. He was going out of his way to say he was natural. And then it turned out that he wasn't.
You know what I appreciate right now is that even though obviously he did lie about that before, it wasn't an admirable thing he did, you're still somewhat giving the dude the benefit of the doubt. Like, you're speaking the same way you did about it before. Because before all of it happened, before it was found out, right, when we first talked about him, you're like, he might be, he might not be, right? You didn't just automatically write him off, right? And then obviously when it came out, we were, you know, I was called dumb as fuck and people said some shit about you too. But it's just like, even now, you're still somewhat giving the dude the benefit of the doubt. He could be telling the truth. He might not be. We can't know. But I like how you don't just paint somebody with a brush after something happens.
Yeah.
And this is after he lied to your face.
Yeah. You know, and also too, I think this would even be more annoying for people to know. It would be even more annoyed with him. But if you were able to meet the guy and you're able to hang out with him for a little bit, you would have a lot of fun. And you would say, this is an interesting dude. You want to hear more from him.
Yeah.
And I think that would like even bother someone just to hear that. Like me and my brother had the greatest time with him. It's like one of the best trips I've ever had. we fucking went all over his ranch and on 4-wheelers and stuff, and we got stuck in the fucking mud. And
Yeah, you broke one.
we broke one. We got to shoot all kinds of guns and throw axes and see his family and see his kids and how they all interact with each other and stuff. And he had people like working the ranch. He had everything like set up for us. It was crazy. Like we went into this house that it's like an extra home on his property that doesn't live on. It was like this, I don't know, 40-acre ranch and somewhere in Houston, Texas. It's fucking huge. The place that he lives at, he's got all these cars, got all this cool shit,
ATVs and shit.
He's got a nice pool. He's got a river in the backyard. He has like a boat. I mean, he just has a lot of really cool and fun things. And it seems like authentically he likes those things. It seems like he's into those things. It seems like his family is into those things. So we had an amazing time. And so I think even without that though, I like to try to give people the benefit of the doubt because I don't know like what they're saying and I don't know what their like angle is, you know? But I do think it's important that people should understand that most of the time people do have some sort of angle. And so just as long as you know that going in, that someone might try to hook you with something. I think in the Liver King's case, what he's the most guilty of is trying to sell you on an idea more so than just products. Because you got to keep in mind, he made his wealth before he was ever really on the internet. Before we ever saw Brian Johnson turn into like the Liver King, no one knew who he was. And it seemed like Ancestral Supplements was doing really well. And I've seen some people that have kind of tracked his finances because you can do it through some apps and things like that. And they're like, this guy's probably not lying. He's probably making like $10 million a month. Probably making like $10 million a month. They scrolled over like one product that he had. They're like, he sold over 100K in this product for the month. He sold over 100K of this product for the month. I mean, that's crazy. And in the video I saw, they were like, this is probably why Greg Doucette doesn't like this guy. Because then they went to Greg Doucette's stuff and they went over that. And it obviously wasn't. He
makes way more money.
He makes way more money. Anyway, let's keep it going. Sorry.
To now, and tell me that you can't tell the difference.
Sorry for pausing, but what do you guys see there?
What, he's leaner? Then it's definitely a different. Well, yeah, he looks leaner, looks a little bit smaller, but it's also a way different angle. You know, so it could just be a little bit differently flexing the abs than in the first picture. That could be, or he could legitimately be small. I want you guys to imagine that you're wearing a cast on your hand and you're going through your whole day with this cast hand. Well, because your fingers don't move, your hand will start to become stiff, weak, and that'll work its way up your arm. That's the same thing that happens when you wear these damn shoes, okay? Sorry to curse, but it's frustrating. Because these shoes that have a narrow toe box, although they look nice and they're Nikes, narrow toe box so your toes can't move. They're not flat, so your foot is in this weird thing and it's not getting stronger. And they're not flexible, so they don't move and your foot just moves like this all day. which means your feet are getting weaker. That's why we partner with Vivo Barefoot Shoes. They have a bunch of shoes for the gym and casual shoes, but the thing about these shoes is that they are wide, they are flat, and they are flexible. So your foot can do what it needs to do and it can get stronger over time. That's going to allow you to be a better, stronger athlete. Andrew, how can they get them?
Yes, that's over at vivobarefoot.com/powerproject. When you guys get there, you'll see a code across the top. Make sure you use that code for 15% off your entire order. Again, vivobarefoot.com/powerproject. Links in the description as well as the podcast show notes.
Throw these away.
Oh my God. Dude, watch the camera.
Massive difference. I'll tell you what I don't like. I don't like the idea of losing over 20 pounds of muscle. I don't like the idea that became the reality of losing a lot of strength. My 1 rep max strict press was like 255, and I couldn't even hit 205 in July. So I've decided to go back on it. I'm taking testosterone. It's a cream. I do 3 clicks of it a day. I'm also doing a growth hormone. It's 2 clicks a day. Really what's considered HRT or TRT. It's hormone replacement therapy, managed in the normal range, not a supraphysiological range. So why am I getting back on?
Pause. Okay. Is
Testosterone cream doesn't do anything. It doesn't really work. It
Or
doesn't,
really?
it doesn't do much. It doesn't
Okay.
do enough. It doesn't do enough to. It doesn't do enough to. It doesn't do enough to really make significant changes from a muscular standpoint, in my opinion. I don't think it's performance enhancement.
But on a hormone level, it probably helps balance out some of the things that from PED use, right? I mean, I'm assuming.
Yeah, it could.
Mm-hmm.
I know, like people that sell it and people that make it and stuff, like they're like, no, it does this and this. But I've never seen anybody be like, yeah, man, all I'm using is cream, and they're fucking like, never, ever seen that before.
about that GH?
Growth hormone is like really impactful. Growth hormone, like a little bit goes a long way, but you have to take growth hormone for like a long time. So, but he already was taking growth hormone before, so he's been riding dirty probably with growth hormone the whole time. Which, by the way, growth hormone doesn't fall into a peptide category. So he said he's not on any steroid. I don't know what he said in the beginning exactly, but he said he's not on any steroids. He's not on any peptides.
Okay.
And growth hormone is not a steroid, and it's not a peptide.
One thing about this is just like his titties are just sitting there, yeah. I just found myself looking at them nips, just like why are they sitting there just like flop,
just staring at you?
It's like you feel like you could get underneath it with 3 fingers and just go, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Not in a weird way, just like they're just flopping there. You know what
There's
I mean?
no other way than weird after
Thinking about.
Sorry, bro. It's just kind of why are they flopping like that?
Yeah.
You've been thinking about this.
Why'd you pause right here, Andrew?
Some milkers.
The chest does nicely go into the beard too. You know what I mean? And the beard goes in nicely to the chest. I mean, it works out pretty good.
Yeah, the beard like angles right into the crevice right here.
He was thinking about that.
That shit's aesthetically pleasing. How about that?
Hey.
Yeah, I'm curious. So I did say this like after he said he was coming off of everything. I was like, oh, it's just a matter of time before he gets on like a HRT regimen or whatever. I'm wondering, does he have a company that he's involved with in regards to like maybe like it's his company that he's involved with to get the HRT from? I think that would be a really smart move, and then he would end up not playing everybody, but it would be like, oh, that's what he was pulling at the whole time. Like, I'm curious if that's where like the next chapter is going to be. Like, oh, this is actually what I'm taking from this company, and we find out that he's actually like the biggest like backer of this company.
He's been slinging that shit for
yes.
for years and years. That's what my brother was saying. Is my brother's like, it's kind of a shame because he could have been an advocate for TRT. You know, he could have been somebody who was like saying, hey, this is, you know, but he had some sort of plan, you know, and his plan, like, I don't know, it worked. Like, I know people think it didn't work, but it worked.
Oh, it worked.
Like, he got a lot of attention, and we're still talking about him today. I wonder what would happen if that never happened, if he would still be talked about, or if the allure would have just like fizzled out.
There is something also to think about here. You know, the fact that he was using a bunch of stuff, he was able to get to a certain level of strength, a certain level of size that he was then connected to. And then when he's found out and he hops off, he loses that. and you just can't handle it. Like, that's a lot of guys. I mean, I've seen guys who, like, they've hopped on, they've got strong, and then when they need to come off and they start getting a little bit weaker, they don't feel as good, they can't handle it. So they're right back on. And that means that if you do take that step, you need to think about that aspect of things. You will be connected to this potential superhuman that you become, right? But it's also connected to the drugs that you're currently taking. And most people will not want to let that go. So keep that in mind, because you're not going to want to let it go.
That's why the blasting cruise is dead, and it's just blast and blast more.
He may have been somebody that, because it was such a big deal, because it hit so many people. Like even my nephews, were talking about it, and they're really young. I think like at the time they were both like 9 and 11 or something like that. Maybe it has prevented people from taking anabolics because they, like he's talking about like coming off, and he's talking about like how hard it was because he had, he felt like he needed to lie. I don't know. He felt like he needed to lie about it for whatever reason. And I think that maybe by discovering kind of what happened to Liver King, maybe some people looked into it deeper. And as you look into it deeper, you're like, oh man, I got to kind of be on this stuff like the rest of my life to keep the gains. And even some of the stuff he's saying now, I know we've had guests on the show and they're talking about like checking your estroidal in comparison to your testosterone, in comparison to your free testosterone. And you're always like, man, like seems like there's a lot to think about. And that's exactly what Ron Penna has said too. Ron Penna, like he loves training. I'm sure he would love to like blast some TRT, but he's like, just seems like there's a lot to think about. Like I inject that and then I get like a cool result. But then there's like all this cascade of a bunch of other stuff that I have to now think about and try to manage, and for some people, like they just turn that faucet and they don't ever think about it ever again. And it's like that sink is going to fucking overflow if you just keep like running on a lot of just drugs or a lot of exogenous testosterone. So you're better off just, if you are going to do it, you just, you only turn that knob a wee bit. But again, even at the smaller dosages, if you come off, the drug is a huge part of it. It works about as good as a diet does. A diet is really effective until you're not doing it. Right? Once you're not doing it, you're fucking back out. And maybe you manage to get yourself to 7% body fat. Well, it's going to take a while for you to gain body fat off of that. It's going to take a while for you to, get to a point where you don't look nearly as good. But if you're off plan for long enough, sure enough, like shit will start to fall apart. So I don't think he was ever really off for long enough to really see, but he probably felt like crap because he felt smaller. And remember that scene in the program with Latimer when he says no problem and he injects his shoulder with juice and then he does some curls. Like he gets like it's an old movie. He gets run over by somebody in a football game. And because his coach makes him come off shit. And then like the next scene is him injecting his shoulder and like doing some like concentration curls in the gym.
I always thought it was crazy that he flushed syringes and everything down the toilet. I'm like, that's probably going to get stuck down there. He shouldn't have flushed it.
You were concerned about the plumbing.
Yeah, because, you don't want to have to plunge that thing out later. All right, let's go.
True.
I've done what I need to do. I've proven what I needed to prove to me. The commitment that I made to my boys, to my family, to all the primals out there is I would never lie again. I went on record. I went onto my website. I went and said, I told it all. Anybody, like I said, if you're late to the party, that's fine. You can go and you can look at the confessional, why I decided to go back on. I've done what I need to do. I'm living my life by my terms, not somebody else's terms.
This is clearly all just marketing.
Here's the thing. I never wanted to do the Liver King. Anybody who knows me, especially me who knows me, I could have never given a public talk. I tried. It was crippling. Words didn't come out of the mouth. It was just crippling thinking about it, much less doing it. When I was younger, I hated my life. I hated who I was. I was ashamed. I wanted to kill myself. And I figured a way out of that. And then as I got older, my kids got really sick. It was really these ancestral tenets that got me out of this hellhole. It was the ancestral lifestyle that got my kids healthy, and the light bulbs came on. What kind of piece of shit would I be if I didn't share this with the world. 4,000 people a day kill themselves, and 80,000 people a day try. They see no light at the end of the tunnel. Critical talks about how he hated his own life. Critical was ashamed of even showing his own face, until I think when he got to 1 million followers or something like that, he did a reveal. Here's who I am. I know how that feels, to have no self-worth. And so I'm thinking, okay, I got a responsibility. I have an obligation. This is my opportunity to make my mark, so that other young men like me don't have to hate their lives and suffer and struggle, so that other kids out there, like my own boys, have a decent shot at life.
Pause. The thing is, I respect that idea, and I respect that message, and it's true. Like, men do suffer. Like, a lot of people do kill themselves, but it's
like a departure from his message kind of overall, and it's like a little bit of a
it seems like a misdirection.
Seems like a little bit of a stretch.
You would not I would hope it's not a misdirection, and it seems as like he's
I think he really felt that way as a person, but I think that him trying to get you on his side, talking about how many people kill themselves, I don't think is appropriate in this context.
In the context, it's like, don't in this situation, don't bring it up, because I remember actually watching the Flagrant podcast with him on it, and that ended up being something he talked about, and it seems as if he feels strongly about it. He probably does, but it's like, it's really unfortunate that that message seems to have come after it was found out about all the gear use. You know what I mean? So it's just like, it's unfortunate. I'll just put it that way.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say, that it was like so odd. Like, oh, I'm watching this apology, and then like we're going down this rabbit hole of something that's not, you definitely shouldn't take it lightly, but it's like time and place. And I was just like, why are we, like, he went and talked about it for a long time during that first apology. And then we're back here again, and it does seem like it's something to like kind of soften the blow of like, yeah, I'm back on shit again. I just, again, it is weird because it's such a serious like topic or subject, but again, I think time and place, it seems a little bit off right here.
Politicians do it all the time. Like they're the best at it.
Oh yeah.
Somebody will say something that they did wrong, and then rather than the person being like, yeah, I messed up.
I hear you.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, I understand. Like, that's a good point. But then they just turn around and start talking about somebody else. And it's like, okay, what the other person did may also be wrong. But you're just like diverted everyone's attention over there out of nowhere. And now you're just trying to distract the situation so the heat is like off of you.
Yeah.
I know I got those children in jail, Nancy. I know. I get it. I hear you. But I love children. And let me tell you how much I love children. My sons. It's a total fucking misdirection.
That misdirection, yeah. What do you guys
you're
think?
Like,
Yeah.
Like, wait, hold on.
Well, yeah, exactly. Because then you're like, well, that's a good point. I'm with you now. It's like, well, wait, hold on. Whoa. That fucking verbal jujitsu, you just fucking swept me, and now you're on top. What the fuck just happened?
Everyone that lifts knows like what the value it has for you and how good it makes you feel about yourself. So I was feeling down. And you
got me already.
Right.
Oh, damn. That was great. I apologize. What do you guys think about him saying he never wanted to be Liver King?
Yeah, I don't think he would have ever done it if he didn't want to do it, So, I did hear that message when we were kicking it with him at his house. He did come out of nowhere, so
yeah,
I believe that part of the story. I believe that he not that he never wanted to become that, but he certainly wasn't thinking about like really utilizing himself to mass market his products. And again, I think it's of note at least to know that he built his wealth before he was doing the stuff on social media. Social media definitely helped, definitely spiked everything, and I mean, that's clear, but like the wealth that I saw, at least from what I saw that he has, that could be from family members or something. I have no clue. I don't have any proof of it being, I just know that he has a lot of shit. But I think it's of note that he did have success before that. And it did appear that people were saying, Brian, like, you look incredible. Like you're completely shredded. You live this lifestyle. Why don't you start to film it? Why don't you start to talk about it? You own ancestral supplements. Why don't you marry the two together and be the spokesperson for it?
TRT, it's a popular topic. A lot of guys are hopping on it. It's something that we've talked about a lot. And you might think you're a candidate, but how would you know if you haven't got your blood work done and you don't know where your markers are? That's why we partnered with Merrick Health, owned by Derek from More Plates, More Dates. And the cool thing about Merrick is you'll get your blood work done, and you'll also have a patient care coordinator that can help you analyze your blood work, analyze your testosterone, all these other markers to help you actually figure out if you're someone who needs TRT. Because there could be things that you could be doing nutritionally, with supplements, or even with your lifestyle that can boost your testosterone to the levels that they should actually be at. Andrew, how can they get their hands on it?
Yes, that's over at merrickhealth.com/powerproject. And at checkout, enter promo code POWERPROJECT to save 10% off the Power Project panel, the checkup panel, or any individual lab that you select. Again, that's at merrickhealth.com/powerproject. Promo code POWERPROJECT at checkout. Links in the description as well as the podcast show notes. It makes sense to become another persona, to be that in front of the camera when you yourself, like when Brian is not comfortable in front of the camera, but Liver King can be,
Right.
then that makes a lot of sense. But if he never really wanted to be that, he's still leaning into it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's still Liver King on air right now. He's, as far as I was able to count, there's 4 mentions of his website, which happens to say Liver King, you know, so it's just interesting to say that I never wanted to be this, but also here I am again. Like, or I don't follow him, like his YouTube channel. So I don't know if he's like never went away, you know, like I apologize if he hasn't, but like,
Yeah.
It just seems odd that
I think everybody would agree with that statement. It seemed like he went away.
okay.
Yeah. But I don't think he has. I think he's still been doing stuff.
Yeah.
But I also think that that's deliberate too. You know, one of the greatest things you can do when you really fuck up bad is to, or not even just fuck up bad, you just want to like rebrand, is to like unbrand, to just not be visible for like a while. You just take a couple weeks or a couple months off. No one sees you. No one thinks about you. And you come back and now he's back in everybody's minds again.
Let time pass.
Mm-hmm.
This is why I exist today. This is my why in the world. This is why I'm okay. You want to bring the criticism, you want to make the videos, you know, this is fine. Because I'm going to keep moving forward. I'm going to get this message out. Does the messenger kill the message sometimes? Yeah. I know that I do. Do I ratchet it up? I do. I fucking do, for 2 reasons. Number one, more. I have fun doing it. Like Critical says, I make shit. This is what he says on all of his platforms. I make shit. When you make shit, when you create and you build, there's this endogenous satisfaction. I did this with my bare fucking hands, with my brain. How do I do that? And why do I do it? Because if we don't get eyeballs on the message, then what does it matter? Somebody once said, oh, but if you just change that one guy.
Again, real talk. We've said this before. He has actually positively impacted most likely hundreds of thousands of people.
Mm-hmm.
That cannot be taken away. Even though the blunder happened, the ability to have actually impacted hundreds of thousands of people to change their lifestyles. Some people weren't buying the supplements or anything. They just changed their lifestyles and started following some of those tenets. Their life is better because of it. And at the end of the day, that is a win. Even though his image is somewhat tarnished, at the end of the day, he did change many lives.
Most people that have social media, they are trying to get attention. They're trying to get people to view it. They are, you know, for some people, you know, 4,000 views or 10,000 views might be a lot, but everyone is aiming for having some sort of viral thing that's like in the millions. And people, like everyone is in a contest or a battle constantly. When you post something, I guess there's like occasional, like somebody might post some family stuff kind of like, and that's sort of for their family and they're just excited about it. But for the most part, we're all kind of in this rat race and he's done an amazing job of it.
Yeah.
You got to just like, game got to recognize game sometimes, right? Like he's just done a good job and it's okay if it's not your cup of tea. If you're like, you know, fuck that guy. I don't like what he does. He's like just trying way too hard for attention. I don't like it. You still can't deny the fact that he has figured out a way to get people to talk about him.
I mean, guys, like I have friends that don't really pay attention to fitness shit who have messaged me, especially when he was like, you know, getting popular. He was like, Nsima, what do you think about this Liver King stuff? What do you think about this stuff? And then I end up being a satellite of this shit where I'm just like, you know what? Some of that shit isn't a bad idea. I mean, you don't have to eat testicles and shit, but you probably do want to get some sun, get some sleep. Like he did make people that I know that aren't even into this fitness shit change up some of their habits. So as much as you may dislike him or hate him or whatever, there has been positive impact.
Yeah, just drink Steak Shake. Don't worry about eating testicles, though.
That's a good point.
Guy's life, it means everything, doesn't it? It doesn't. Because I could go change my boys' lives. I could spend more time with my wife. I could spend more time just with my inner circle tribe. I can have impact here. What I'm here to do is really share and cast a net so fucking big that we have an opportunity in our lifetime to change the trajectory of human health.
And he'd lead his followers to believe that if they purchase his supplements and his supplies and eat like him, they could look like him. No matter how closely you follow his ancestral tenets, and no matter how many of his products you buy, you will not have a body that looks like his unless you also get on all of the gear he's using in the same amounts of it.
I've never said, taking my supplements, you're gonna look like me. What I have said is, make sure to get the early morning sun, get your bare feet connected, grounded, anchored into the earth, so that you can express your highest and most dominant form. You, to express your potential, not to look like Liver King. There's no amount of working out, sleeping, eating, moving, shield, connect, cold, all of this stuff. There's nothing you can take to look like Liver King. My supplements won't do it, but there is one thing that might do it. If you take Greg's supplements.
How long is he going to do it? And so, of course, you could buy products from it. They're not bad.
I might actually do it. That's
Holy shit.
And in one sentence, he won everybody over.
Hey!
That's funny.
That was actually, yo, you want to play that again? I want to hear that beautiful voice one more time. Come on, let's hear it.
Moving, shield, connect, cold, all of this stuff. There's nothing you can take to look like Liver King. My supplements won't do it, but there is one thing that might do it. If you take Greg's supplements.
How long is he going to be with us? And so, of course, you could buy products from me. They're not bad.
He also
by
couldn't
watering
quite
and
do it
of
with a
course-
straight face, which is even better. His face went a little crooked
I
at
might
the
actually
end.
do it. That's worth
Got a
the
little
shot.
smirk going.
It's good. That's good.
Right. Everybody's selling something.
Yo,
Yeah. Yeah, everybody is.
Oh, fuck, that was good.
Oh,
All right.
wow. All right. Sorry. I needed a moment.
And by the way, it's not even about looks, right? It's about family. It's about tribe. If you look at the way that Critical suffered, when Critical hit rock bottom, it was Ancestral Tenet 9 that saved his fucking life. The bond, finding his best friends in college, connected him to creating, to let's make shit, to getting out of the hellhole and living a better fucking life.
In every TikTok I've seen of him, his body is bright red.
You don't look like this when you're 100% natural.
There's this accusation that I look like Arnold Schwarzenegger from Total Recall, that I'm all red and I'm about to explode. To me, this is a great compliment because I want to be exploding, growing, expanding, sharing the philosophy of abundance.
This guy,
So why is
man.
Liver King so red? Part of it might be because I like to bathe in blood.
Pause. He's a pro. He's such a pro. Yeah, I look red because I want to explode. Like, he's so, like, just fucking take notes, man.
Did he say he bathes in blood?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
You know, another part of it probably is because if I'm on the camera, I've been working my ass off. I'm overheated. I just did a workout. You know, look, you come meet me face to face. And if you still think I look red, you know, we can figure that out together. We'll do an investigation
We can
together.
figure it
But I
out.
hope I've given you some of what you need. And Coach Greg, your tan's looking pretty on point. Ancestral Tenet 7.
The seventh ancestral tenet is sun.
Okay, Critical.
I'm excited
Nice
for
edit.
Greg.
Greg will do something with that.
I can't wait.
Oh, man.
I know that you were late to the party, but the party has just begun. I'm issuing and offering a formal invitation for you to come to Liver King Ranch. I'll give $100,000 donation to a charity of your choosing when you come out here and see that none of this is an act, that this is actually how I live, my queen, my boys, and that my bed does not have diamonds laced through it like you're accusing me of, that might have some guns underneath the pillow. But you come out here to Liver King Ranch to prove that this is not what I say, this is who I am, this is how I live, this is my commitment. So we can do some goddamn good in the world. Let's connect. Let's make it a party. It's the power of a tribe. Let's light it the fuck up.
You know,
King.
the interesting thing is, like, you know, people who have like known him, and I've had talks with some people who have known him before this, and they're all like, he was doing all that shit. Like, he was already like working out like a madman, doing business like a madman. Like, he's just that type of person who always takes things to that level. So people think it's an act, but he really has been doing this shit for a minute.
Yeah. No, he clearly has been. Again, like, I think it's cool that he's like, inviting people to his ranch. My brother's like, you could do like a retreat thing here, and like people would pay, tons of money to come here and to try to like live like you for a little bit, because he's got his chef and everything cooking all the meals and all the activity and stuff that you can do like on the ranch. But yeah, I mean, I saw firsthand that he really does live that way. Me and my brother, when we left there, we weren't like, oh, we think all that's like a show. We weren't like, we didn't think that at all. What we did think, we were like, you know what? I think that him and his team, or at least him, like he has a specific plan. And I'm not sure how many other people know about his specific plan, but I think that at that point, I thought he was definitely on stuff after seeing him in person and spending some time with him. And I just felt like it was just a big like marketing thing. And it is. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. When you see some of the setups that he has, anybody that films, anybody that creates anything knows how difficult, like that is really hard. Like that thing with the nut sack or whatever he just showed, and pulling out the scrotum and all that. Like somebody had to harvest that, so somebody killed that animal probably that day, and somebody got that, and it's probably from his own ranch. But these things are not without preparation. Somebody has to set the supplements on the table. There's somebody filming. There's probably a couple other people around, and my brother and I got to see a lot of that firsthand, how much stuff was set up. And he has like a whole. It's an entire thing, It's not like Nsima, it's not like you and I trying to set up to shoot something in the gym. It's way different. He's got like a whole.
It's an operation, crazy operation.
He's got a whole crew,
production crew.
He has a whole crew that's involved. Somebody grabs the scotch, and it's a little things. And someone's like, "Well, that's not a big deal to put the scotch on the table." Well, no, it's not. But it's a big deal to have the cutting board there. It's a big deal to cut that shit out of an animal. It's a big deal to like get these shots in very specific ways. And we just saw like his stuff is very, very thought out. And I think you used a good word there. It's a production. It's exactly what it is. And he's the main event, the main actor in these productions, and he does a great job with it.
Yeah. What do you guys think about most critical saying the only way to look like him is if you take all the stuff that he was taking?
Well, there's genetics involved too. Someone could take all the shit he's taking, but like they might not look anything close to him, because the dude has still worked out like a madman for a very long time. Right. And, even though he lost 20 pounds, if he was off, like he still looked very good.
He has like to me, he's got like an amplified, like Rich Froning physique. Rich Froning had a good chest, and Rich Froning had pretty good abs, but it's like Rich Froning's abs weren't like insane. Yeah. Liver King, is enhanced, and it's a little bit different game. But I know people think all the CrossFitters are on shit too, but I think Rich Froning and a lot of those guys, I think they are natural. And you look at the physique of like a Jason Khalipa. Yeah, look, I mean, it's crazy. That's fucking great.
We know many natural people look better than Liver King at his height.
Yeah.
People don't believe it. Russ Swole's one of them. And I think Russ Swole, I'm using him as an example because Russ is the same height as Liver King, but I think he's like 190 something. And he looks pretty wild. He looks better than Liver King. Power Project family, if you're trying to increase your muscle mass, if you're trying to lose body fat, if you're trying to stick to your nutrition plan, if you're trying to get fit, pretty much if there's anything you're trying to do for your health, we know that sleep is the biggest determining factor to help you get from point A to point B. That's why we've been sleeping on 8 Sleep mattresses for probably more than 2 years now. And the main reason is the technology behind the Pod Pro. Now, the Pod Pro is like the Tesla of beds. It will change its temperature based off of how you're sleeping during the night. And if you have a partner that's sleeping on the other side, they can have their own temperature settings. We all sleep hot here, and I used to wake up in a puddle of my own sweat. Gross. That doesn't happen anymore because of the 8 Sleep mattress, and I've been getting the best sleep of my life. Now, if you don't want to replace your mattress, you can just get the Pod Pro cover, and you can put that over your current mattress to get all the benefits of 8 Sleep. But if you also need to replace your old nasty mattress, you can get the Pod Pro cover and the 8 Sleep mattress. Andrew, how can they get it?
Yes, you guys got to head over to 8sleep.com/powerproject. and you guys will automatically receive $150 off of your order. Again, 8sleep.com/powerproject. Links to them down in the description, as well as the podcast show notes.
I don't think a lot of people would even desire to necessarily look a lot like the Liver King.
No.
I think it's a different kind of physique.
Yeah.
And I think that people are striving to have like a smaller waist, or striving to have abs and things like that. But when these guys are natural, I don't know, there's something about their physique that is quite different. And
What do you think's different about his physique? Just curious. When you look at like him,
there's for some reason
a softness.
Yeah, there's a couple things. For some reason, there's like when guys are enhanced, for some reason, it seems like the steroids or the performance enhancement that they use amplifies like a body part, or maybe a body part or two.
Yeah.
But it seems like with the natural guys, it seems like they're more in proportion. And this is a weird thing to say, but it doesn't look like their body hurts. Like their body looks like, it's a weird word, but the body looks like cleaner or something. Like when I look at Russ Swole here in some of these images here where he's flexing, he looks like, even though I can't tell because he's not doing like a ton of crazy stuff, he looks like he's going to be like athletic. He looks like he's going to be able to move really well. His waist is very small. He's well developed everywhere. His legs are massive. The Liver King's very top heavy. He's very upper body. He's got a lot of muscle mass in his upper body. And so, and even just being with the Liver King, he's more stiff. He's more like a traditional power lifter, where Russ Swole is like, a power lifter that can do a bunch of other crazy shit too. It's awesome.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Jeez.
All right.
Was he really red in person?
You know what? He was super orange. Like when he came out of his house, I don't know if it was like the time of day or like what the situation was, but he
jaundiced or some shit.
came out of his house and he was like, the tan was just rocking.
Huh.
But yeah, he gets red. I mean, a lot of white people get red. A lot of white people get pretty lobstery red from the sun. It's
y'all do, yeah.
Yeah. I used to get very red when I was on a lot of gear. And then secondly, I used to get very red from the sun, but I've gotten used to the sun now and was able to adapt to it a little bit better. Yeah, so I guess Liver King is it's never gonna die. He's gonna keep resurfacing here and there. And I think the way that he ended that I thought was really cool. He ended it with some fun, keeping some of these things fun. And I think when I think of Liver King and I think of the different videos and stuff that he's done, I just think of them as entertainment. I never took them like insanely seriously. I just thought was thinking these are kind of fun and funny and entertaining, more so than I wasn't getting caught up in like the fact that oh man, I wonder if the liver really heals the liver. Like I think he's got good points, and I think that there's probably half truths to a lot of the speculations that he's had on certain things with diet and certain things with lifestyle habits. But I think people just need to fucking relax. It's entertaining. Like that stuff at the end of that was great.
It was. Yeah. And if somebody, honestly, I really don't give a fuck, but if somebody just starts buying into some of the lifestyle stuff he talks about, shit, that's good. You know what I mean? I'm not the biggest fan of the dude, but at the end of the day, like, those aren't bad things to do. Those aren't bad. Some of those tenets are not bad to try to add to your life. So
Andrew, what was
somebody does good?
What was your body fat last time you got it checked?
It's like 12 and a half.
Yeah.
12.5%. Yeah.
And could you get that down if you wanted to, and it was a main focus of yours? Could you get it down to like 9 or something?
I mean, I would imagine so. Yeah. I don't know what that would take at the moment to get down to single digit, but yeah, I believe I can do that.
You could.
And I think like the first order of business in a situation like that, with given your body weight and stuff, it takes a little while. You'd be put on like 2-3 pounds of muscle. Like that will have an immediate shift in your body fat percentage. Lose a little bit of body fat, and boom, you're like right there. So I think, people that haven't had abs, or people that just think that these physiques are completely unattainable, I think they are. I think you can get there. Maybe you're not going to look this exact look because this is a performance enhanced look. But just about anyone can figure out how to be jacked and how to be shredded. It's just going to take time.
Yep.
Strength is never weakness. Weakness is never strength. Catch you guys later. Bye.
So watching this video, Liver King has become a little bit of a comedian. Well, how about watching a pro comedian? We podcast with Tom Segura. He's actually really, really funny. Liver King's funny too, but Tom's super funny. It was a good podcast. You'll learn a lot from this one. Click it. Click it. More! Click it. Click it.
There you go.